At first, I thought my cat had completely lost her mind, until I realized what she was actually trying to do. If someone asked me what the strangest thing my cat has ever done is, I wouldn't have to think for very long. It's the fact that every single day, she tries to drag a blanket that's bigger than her all around the house. The first time I saw it, I just stood there in disbelief. The blanket was so heavy that every step made her wobble. Sometimes it would even pull her off balance and send her tumbling onto the floor. But what amazed me wasn't that she fell. It was that every time she did, she quietly got back up and kept dragging it as if nothing had happened. At first, I thought it was just a random little habit, until I realized she did it every single day. I eventually started secretly following Lauren to find out what she was actually trying to do. Every trip was exactly the same. She would bite the edge of the blanket, shake her head to get some momentum, and slowly drag it from the living room down the hallway. Her little legs waddled with every step. Whenever the blanket got caught on a table leg or a corner, Lauren would stop for a few seconds, almost as if she were thinking. I could practically see the tiny gears turning in her head as she figured out how to change direction. Then, after a few clumsy turns, she would continue her journey. The cutest part was what happened after she finally dragged the blanket into my bedroom. Lauren would simply sit there and admire her accomplishment. Her tail gently swished back and forth. Her face looked so proud, as if she had just completed the most important mission in the world. Sometimes she would flop down on the blanket, knead it with her front paws, and then look up at me. I always smiled and said, "Good job." It almost seemed as though that was exactly what she had been waiting to hear. After a while, I realized Lauren actually had a purpose. She never tried to drag the blanket while I was using it. If I was sitting on the couch wrapped up in it, Lauren would simply sit nearby and wait. The moment I stood up, she would rush over, as if she understood that the blanket no longer belonged to me once I wasn't using it anymore. Her patience was both hilarious and surprisingly touching. What was even more fascinating was how much Lauren improved. At first, it took her forever just to pull the blanket across one room. A few weeks later, every movement became smoother and faster. She learned to step backward for better leverage. She learned to tilt her head so the blanket wouldn't get caught in the doorway. She even figured out how to change direction whenever she ran into an obstacle. It was almost as if Lauren had invented her own little game. And every day, she tried to beat her own personal best. Honestly, this wasn't the first time Lauren had surprised me. Ever since she was a kitten, she'd had the funniest little habits. Whenever the tie from my bathrobe fell onto the floor, Lauren would pick it up in her mouth and waddle all the way over to me. No one taught her, no one asked her to do it. She simply enjoyed doing it. Every time I saw that tiny little body struggling to carry something almost as big as she was over to me, it instantly made my entire day better. Later, our family welcomed another kitten named Edna. If Lauren was calm and gentle, Edna was the complete opposite. She raced around the house, she chased anything that moved, and she was endlessly curious about everything. But what made me happiest was how quickly Lauren became the perfect big sister. The two of them would chase each other all over the house, and when they finally got tired, they'd curl up together and fall asleep side by side. As for Lauren, she never gave up her daily blanket routine. Sometimes I'd be working when I'd hear the familiar rustling sound coming from the living room. I didn't even have to look. I already knew who it was. I'd walk out, and there she was again, carefully dragging her favorite blanket toward my bedroom. That sight has never gotten old. If anything, it makes me laugh just as much as it did the very first time. After watching Lauren work so hard at her little job, day after day, I decided to do something special for both of them. I put together a little party right at home. Of course, Lauren's favorite blanket had to be part of it. I sprinkled a little catnip on it, set out a few toys, then simply sat down to play with them. Lauren immediately flopped onto the blanket as if it were the greatest gift she'd ever received. Meanwhile, Edna ran excitedly in circles around the room. That moment filled our little home with laughter. Growing up, I was always surrounded by dogs. I truly believed I'd always be a dog person. Until Lauren and Edna came into my life. Those two little cats completely changed my mind. Whenever work or school left me feeling overwhelmed, all it took was watching Lauren diligently dragging her oversized blanket or seeing Edna happily scampering behind her, and all of my stress seemed to disappear. What makes me love them isn't that they can perform amazing tricks. It's that each of them has a personality all their own. Lauren has her blanket, Edna has her endless energy. Those little quirks may seem insignificant, but they're what fill our home with life. Maybe happiness is sometimes as simple as watching a tiny cat faithfully drag a blanket that's heavier than she is every single day, and realizing that the silliest things our pets do often become the most precious memories of our lives.